Man, I think this is the best decision she could possibly have at this point in her career with HMD, Indy Next. They need some more faces, more, they need the popularity. She's able to provide that. She's got the social following, but also for her racing career, she needs a new avenue. She needs something that's different. And we've seen her success in other forms of motorsport, and but still unable to show the results when she made her way to the Craftsman Truck Series. So what's the next move? Or into Xfinity 2, taken out mid-year this year. What's your next move? Go open wheel. And I'd like the opening video for that was put out today, and I think it really emphasized just the fitness level that's upped whenever you cross over into the world of open wheel motorsports, and just the physical fitness that's required to do that, and just how it only gets tougher to do that, in my opinion, from watching it and seeing insider things about it, just how much tougher it is working in an open wheel motorsport, especially American open wheel. Whenever you get into IndyCar, man, it's bare bones and a lot of horsepower, and will rip your arms off on the wheel. I mean, those guys are superheroes, and she has the capability to join that elite company maybe one day. But Indy Next is the place to start, and she's with a good team to do it. It'll be interesting to see how she fares the first year. No big, just like other ventures she started in NASCAR. First year, I don't have many big expectations. Just finish the races. Don't get caught up in trouble. Maybe catch a top 10 here or there, but keep your ride for the next year and just make little baby steps.
Yeah, I certainly have mixed feelings on it because I do get, excuse me, I do get what you're saying, Brandon, about this, being perhaps, something that makes sense for her at this point in her career. Obviously, it seemed like NASCAR was kind of stalling out for her. And ironically enough, it's drawn some more Danica Patrick comparisons, kind of like the reverse of what Patrick did growing up
Inverse.
inverse, I guess. Yeah, there you go. Obviously, being somebody who had got their career started in American open wheel racing with IndyCar and then transitioning over to NASCAR. But Hailie Deegan, I think it's easy to forget Deegan's still only 23 years old. So still certainly early enough in her career where you think, maybe a career change like this could lead to a long and fruitful career down the road. But I think what you said, Brandon, is very important because I think of Jamie Chadwick, obviously coming over in 2023, coming from a W Series, coming from a European ladder. And it took her a little bit of time to get used to the Indy Next Series, even though it was open wheel to open wheel, it's a different culture here in America, different track types and different cars. I would think there's more overlap between what Chadwick was coming from to an Indy Next car than what Deegan's going to be transitioning over towards. But even with Chadwick, it took her some time, especially on the ovals, to get used to this series, and we saw some progression this year. But even now, 2 years in, I hope that she's back in Indy Next. I hope she and Hailie Deegan are racing each other next year, because I think that even though Chadwick got a win and showed noticeable improvement, I don't know that she's quite ready for that next step up to the main show in the IndyCar series here. So, there's that. And then you couple that with the fact that the last big name to make the switch over from NASCAR to IndyCar racing is Jimmy Johnson. And it took Jimmy a lot of time to get to the point where he was as competitive as he was. And even then, we really only saw him, mix it up on the ovals here. It was a real struggle for him to come over and relearn how to drive. And he was very open in admitting how he had to unlearn a lot of what he learned from his illustrious NASCAR career to transition over to the IndyCar series. And he was a 7-time Cup champion. And I look at Deegan's results in NASCAR, and obviously, she is still very young and has, I think, a lot of potential years ahead of her in racing. But she certainly does not have the resume or the results that Jimmy Johnson had. And you saw how tough it was for Jimmy. So I think this is going to be a challenge for Hailie Deegan. Now, can she learn? Absolutely. Do I think she's going to be up to the challenge? Do I think she's going to work hard? She absolutely will. But to your point, Brandon, I think we have to give her at least 1 or 2 years to see what level of potential she truly has in this series and making this career change before we, make a judgment one way or another as to what this could do for her down the road. So it's
Yeah.
going to take time, I think, for her to make this transition for sure.
Yeah. Hailie Deegan fans, I just got to say, like, don't get, and you probably know this, don't give up on her in the first year. Don't give up on her in the second year. Like, this is going to be, just like a lot like Jimmy Johnson, unlearning what she has learned. It's going to be neat to see, though, with the, some of the additions of ovals for the Indy NXT series, such as Nashville at the end of the year, that she'll be able to take part in. Maybe that'll be a little more in her wheelhouse, but maybe this is an opportunity to find her niche, that complements her innate skills behind the wheel. Maybe this is going to be something that will be grasped onto better than what NASCAR turned out to be.